Hello, everyone. It's story time. And what story do we have for you today? Sinbad the Sailor, an Arabic tale, retold by H.Q. Mitchell and Marilene Malcoyani. A long time ago, Sinbad the Sailor lived in a beautiful big house in Baghdad. One day, a man called Hinbad stopped outside. His job was to carry heavy things for rich people, and he was tired all the time. Come inside and rest. You must be thirsty. Have some water, said Sinbad. Thank you, kind sir. Can I ask you how you became so rich? Asked Hinbad. Certainly. Come here every morning, and I will tell you about my adventures. You will get 100 gold coins for every visit. I can't believe my luck, said Hinbad. The next morning, Sinbad started his story. After my parents died, I spent all the money they left me. Then I decided to see the world. Hinbad asked, Did you miss your friends and family? Only at first. I loved ships and we visited lots of exotic places. On his first voyage, there was very little wind, so they decided to stop at a small island. It was a strange island because there were no tall trees or mountains. One of the men on the boat said, This is a great place for a picnic. Bring the food and let's sit down. But soon the island began to shake, and suddenly it sank into the sea. It was a whale. The men fell into the sea, and all of them swam back to the ship, all except Sinbad. The ship then left without him. Luckily, he found a piece of wood. He held onto it for many days. He was hungry and thirsty. He thought it was the end for him. The waves took Sinbad to an island. When the sun rose, he tried to find some food and water. He found some fruit and a stream of fresh water, but he could not see people anywhere. He decided to explore the island. Sinbad said, This place is beautiful. There are so many trees and flowers. He walked and walked, and then he came to a green field with lots of beautiful horses. Suddenly, Sinbad heard people's voices. A man yelled, Stop! These horses belong to our king, the Maharaja. Who are you and what are you doing here? Sinbad answered, I am Sinbad the sailor. My ship left without me. I am all alone on this island. The men took Sinbad to their king, and he let Sinbad stay in the palace. The two men soon became friends, and the Maharaja often spent time with Sinbad and showed him a lot of interesting things in his country. "You were very lucky, Sinbad," said the Maharaja. "My men were ready to leave when you saw them." And these were his men with the horses. Sinbad answered, "I know. Hey, look at that fish. It is so long. And those other fish have heads like owls. They're scary." "Don't worry," said the Maharaja. "They aren't dangerous at all. There are flying fish in these waters too. Look." One day a ship arrived from Baghdad, and Sinbad ran to talk to the captain. The captain said, "I'm sure I know you, but I can't remember your name." "I'm Sinbad. You left me when the whale threw us into the sea." "Sinbad? So you didn't drown? Oh, that's good news. We are going back to Baghdad. Do you want to come with us?" "Yes, I do." Sinbad stayed in Baghdad for a few months, and then he sailed again. The ship stopped at an island to collect fruit and water, and Sinbad fell asleep under a tree. But when he woke up, Sinbad asked himself, "Where is the ship? Oh, no, there it is, but it's far away now." He looked around and saw a huge round white thing. Sinbad asked himself, "What is that? A giant bird is flying down. It must be a rock bird. But this is its egg." Sinbad had an idea. "I can use my turban and tie myself to one of the bird's legs. When it flies away, it will take me with it." And that is exactly what happened. After a while, the bird dived to get a snake, and Sinbad untied the turban and jumped on the ground. Sinbad was in a valley with tall cliffs around it. Here and there he could see diamonds, some big, some small. Sinbad said, "Wow, this place is full of diamonds. I'm going to fill my bag with them." When the sun went down, hundreds of enormous snakes started coming out of holes between the rocks. They hid from the rocks in daytime and hunted for food at night. Sinbad was terrified. "Oh no," said Sinbad. "I'll hide in that small cave and stay there all night. They won't find me there." The next day, he saw some men at the top of the cliffs. They were throwing big pieces of meat into the valley. The diamonds stuck to the meat, and when the rocks took the meat to their nests, the men waited at the nests and collected the diamonds. Sinbad was quick. "I will tie some meat to my back. A bird will soon fly down and carry me up to its nest." Guess what? His plan worked, and with the men's help, Sinbad was soon back home, safe and rich. But Sinbad loved the sea, and a few months later he left on another voyage. This time there was a terrible storm, and the ship got lost. At last it came close to an island. "Look, Captain," said Sinbad, "some funny little creatures are swimming towards the ship." The captain answered, "They're not funny, Sinbad. They're dangerous. Quick, everyone, jump into the boats. We must leave the ship and go to the island." Some of the creatures climbed into the ship and sailed it away. The other creatures chased the sailors to a palace on the island and shut the heavy door. Sinbad and his friends had a bigger problem then. The captain shouted, "Look behind you, Sinbad! A giant is coming towards us." "He's so scary," yelled Sinbad. "What are we going to do?" The giant had one eye, enormous ears, and a huge mouth with big, sharp teeth. It roared at them, and then it picked up the captain and took him away. Every day the giant took another sailor into the palace, and the men never saw them again. In the afternoon, the giant fell asleep in the garden and snored loudly. Sinbad had an idea. When the giant fell asleep the next day, the sailors used a large piece of wood to blind him. The giant yelled, "Ah! Help my eye!" Sinbad yelled, "Quickly, let's go!" The men ran to the sea. They found some wood there and used it to make rafts and escape the horrible island. In the morning, they got on the rafts. A sailor said, "Oh no! There are 3 giants on the beach, and they are holding big rocks. Be careful!" The giants threw rocks at the sailors and destroyed the rafts. Only Sinbad and 2 other men escaped the island. The next morning, the 3 men came to another island. They found some fruit to eat, and then they slept for many hours on the beach. Suddenly, a strange noise woke them up. Something was coming across the hot sand. Sinbad yelled, "Quick, run! It's a snake, and it's huge!" A sailor yelled, "Oh no! It caught Zine!" The sailor said, "We aren't safe. We must do something to hide from it." "There is a tall tree over there," said Sinbad. "Let's pick some fruit and climb up. The snake won't see us there." But the snake was very clever. While they were sleeping, it came and took Sinbad's friend away. When Sinbad woke up all alone, he was terrified. "I'm lost," said Sinbad. "I must do something or the snake will take me too." He found some branches and pieces of wood and made a big circle like a tall nest round the tree. The snake came out at night and tried to get him, but it couldn't. Three days and 3 nights passed. Sinbad really wanted to escape, and he looked out to sea all the time. On the 4th day, he saw a ship. He shouted loudly, and soon a small boat came for him. "Thank you so much," said Sinbad. "You saved me." "Sinbad, is that you?" asked the captain. "We didn't think we would see you again. I'm so glad you're alive." It was the captain of Sinbad's second ship. Sinbad stayed in Baghdad for a few years, but then he got bored and sailed again. Unfortunately, the ship crashed into some rocks and sank. Only a few sailors survived and swam to a nearby island. The people there gave them some strange food. Sinbad said, "Don't eat it. We do not know what it is." But all of the sailors disagreed. "But it smells delicious," they said. For days the sailors ate, and they became fat. Sinbad only ate a little and was thin. Soon they found out that the strange people's plan was to eat them. Sinbad was too thin, and so they left him alone. One day, when no one was looking, he escaped. He ran for days until he arrived in a big city. The king welcomed him, and they became friends. "I see that there are no saddles on your horses," said Sinbad. The king asked, "What is a saddle?" Sinbad made a beautiful saddle for the king and decorated it with jewels and gold. The king was very happy and told Sinbad to make saddles for everyone in the palace. Sinbad became rich and famous. The king then found a wife for his new friend. Sinbad lived happily for a while. However, after just 1 year, his wife died. The king said, "I have bad news. When the wife dies in our country, the husband goes with her in the tomb. It is our tradition. You must die too, Sinbad." They put Sinbad in the tomb with some water and 7 loaves of bread. Then they put a big rock to the entrance. A few nights later, Sinbad heard a noise in the dark. "A rabbit! Where did it come from?" said Sinbad. "I'll follow it and maybe I can get out of here." Sinbad was right. The rabbit led him through some tunnels out of the cave. Far away he saw a ship and made a sign with his turban. Soon he was safe again. Back in Baghdad, Sinbad spent some quiet time. After a few months, he bought a ship and sailed with his friend Mustafa and some other men. One day they stopped at an island. Mustafa said, "Hey, what's this big round thing?" "That's the egg of a rock," said Sinbad, "a giant bird. We shouldn't touch it." "But we're hungry. Let's cook it. Come on." Suddenly, two dark shadows appeared above them, the rocks. Mustafa yelled, "Quick, everyone! Get in the boats and go back to the ship!" But they weren't safe on the ship. The huge birds came back with huge rocks and dropped them on the ship and broke it. Sinbad said, "Oh no, my friends, my poor ship." Sinbad managed to survive and swim to another island. There he saw an old man near a small river. The man pointed to the other side, and Sinbad understood. "Okay, I helped you across the river," said Sinbad. "Now get off my back." But the old man just kicked him harder. This went on for days. Every time Sinbad stopped to rest, the old man kicked him. One day, Sinbad found some sweet grapes. He ate some and started singing. The old man made a sign for grapes too. He ate, and then he became dizzy. Sinbad pushed him off his back and ran to the beach. "At last," said Sinbad, "I'm free." He saw a ship in the distance and swam to it. The men on the ship said, "You were lucky to escape from the old man of the sea. He is very dangerous." But Sinbad had more adventures. On his next trip, Sinbad survived another shipwreck. He swam to the nearest island, but only saw a rocky mountain and a river. "That's strange," said Sinbad. "Rivers usually go into the sea, but this river is going from the sea into a cave. I'll make a raft and explore it." The cave was full of jewels, and Sinbad filled his bag with the biggest ones. But the days passed and he felt weaker every day. One day he fainted. When he opened his eyes, he saw some people near him. "Where am I?" asked Sinbad. One of the men said, You are in the beautiful country of Seradib. I will take you to our king. At the palace, Sinbad met the king. He was a kind man with a big smile. Your Majesty, said Sinbad, you can have all these treasures. Please take them. The king answered, Thank you, but you can keep them. I have everything I need, and you can take this cup to your king as a present. It is in fact a huge ruby full of pearls. The king gave a ship to Sinbad, and he sailed home. This time he made a very important decision. I am very lucky to be alive, said Sinbad. I don't want any more adventures. I just want a quiet life. I will stay here and help the poor people in my city. And so, that's what he did. Thank you so very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again for our next story. Take care.